Well, good morning and thanks for joining me today. I thought I would show you an idea that I had to create a card using a serviette or a napkin which was lying around in my stash. And this napkin is unfortunately one of the last that I have, but it's such a pretty design. So what I need to first of all point out to you is that napkins have several different layers, and the layers are actually either 2-ply or 3-ply. And when you're working with cards and you're wanting to make something, you need to separate them, because otherwise the glue is not going to stick the surface design, which is the printed part that you want. So you need to separate the 2-plies from each other so that you are then just left with this lovely transparent layer. Sometimes it's a little tricky, and I find if you just rub your finger over the edge, it comes away nicely. Or alternatively, take 2 little blobs of blue tack or press stick, depending on what it's called in your country, and put one on either side, and you can usually pull that away. So that's the first thing that you need. Once you've actually then separated the layers, you're going to use a glue stick to glue down your napkin onto a piece of card and just smooth it very, very gently. I like to keep the backing from my napkin while I'm doing this, and it is a really nice way to be able to manage sticking down the napkin, is to just actually use the backing piece. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my corner here to show you. If you use the backing piece and you've got a little ball like this, and you gently just smooth it down rather than using your fingers, you put on less pressure so it actually doesn't damage the napkin while you're working. Then what I've done here now is to actually take a piece of thin double-sided satin ribbon and just used a little bit of glue with a glue pen to stick that down on the one corner. And my old favorite here is my double-sided tape. So on the back of this, I have prepared this with some double-sided tape. I then took a piece of vellum, which is this, and I've run it through my embossing machine with a particular design. And I just love this design, and I love the way that the vellum is actually embossed so easily. So let's just have a quick assemble of this. This is a very easy card to make, so let me just show you what to do. I have taken the same double-sided satin ribbon that I had here, and I've glued 2 parallel strips on the outside of my vellum. That's so that when I put my card together, you have a little bit of interest on the outside and on the inside as you open it up. And I have used that same sort of thin nozzled craft glue just to stick that down, and I've just snipped it off at the edges because I had glue there, so it's not going to froth and fray. I also have on the back of my card here some double-sided tape, and the first thing that I'm going to do is to actually stick this to the inside of the vellum. You'll notice here that I have created a fold, and I've done this deliberately because it's always quite hard to stick vellum down. So the idea is that I'm going to stick my card to the inside of the vellum, and then because the vellum is folded over at the back, I'm not going to see any tape or glue marks, because that is a problem when you're working with vellum because it's so transparent. So make sure you have the tape really rubbed down very well on the edges, and then you're going to just use your craft knife just to flick up the edges so that you get this nice and secure. If the tape starts coming away with the actual backing, you need to make sure you just rub it down securely, because otherwise it's so thin, it's really tricky to work with, and it is easy for it to lift up. So having the corners down nice and firmly really makes a difference. Oh, this one's not behaving. Let's try the opposite corner. I very seldom have long nails, so I'm not one of those people who can usually just flick it. Right, so I'm going to now carefully just position this on the inside of my fold and stick that down. So now I've got a free fold over here, and on the back of this I have a nice large piece of my double-sided tape so that the whole little sort of collage that I've built up here, which is the card with a napkin and the vellum, will stick down nicely. So that's a nice secured strip, and then I've got these 2 little pieces here. And you can see just how beautifully this double-sided tape works, because it's not messy at all. You're just going to use it over and over again once you've just come to terms with finding this in your stash. It's just the most wonderful product. So now I'm going to center this in my card. And I just love this very soft, gentle feel that you have of the card having the napkin under the vellum. Almost gives it sort of like a little hazy feel. And then I have a funny little piece of card here that was just simply a piece of card that I had while I was actually working on another project. I was coloring some card, and there goes the little crayon marks from when I was doing that. So I'm going to stick this down on the bottom of my napkin, and this is where I'd be able to put a sentiment of some sort. At this stage, I'm not sure what sentiment I would like to put here, so for this purpose, because I'm not sure of the sentiment, I'm going to just leave this blank for now. But you'll see how beautifully that just fits in and finishes off the inside of the card, like so. And then when I know what I'm going to use this for, I will just simply put the sentiment on the inside of that. So there's one super little card, a little bit different from the others. You could obviously put the sentiment on the front if you wanted to, but I'm very happy with that, and I hope it's given you an idea for something a bit different. Bye, and thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed this video, please just give me a thumbs up. And if you're wanting to have updates for future videos, then please consider subscribing to my channel, and you'll get those notifications too. Bye for now.